look at the trouble every night on TV. I might lose hope, I might lose faith in the people I meet. If it takes a village, then the world is our town, looking out for each other, one for another.
Hello and welcome to People for People. I'm your host Tammy Allen, and each week we interview a different nonprofit making a difference in our community. And today is my great pleasure to welcome Douglas Scott. He's the executive director of Full Radius Dance, which is a very interesting dance company, very unique. I've never even heard of anybody that is doing what you do. Can you tell me about this company, how you came to it, a little history? I'm very interested in this.
I'd be happy to, Tammy. Full Radius Dance is a modern dance company, but we work within the field of physically integrated art. Now, physically integrated art is an art form that combines people with and without physical disabilities in both the creation and the performance of the work. Now, I've been working with dancers of different abilities since 1993.
And that's a long time. Had that been done before, to your knowledge?
Yes, the oldest physically integrated dance company in the U.S. is celebrating, I think, its 30th anniversary this year, and it's Dancing Wills in Cleveland, Ohio. So it's actually Dancing Wills that inspired me to create Full Radius Dance. I attended a workshop that was presented by the artistic director of Dancing Wills and was completely taken and shocked and amazed and baffled about how could this be dance? Of course it is dance. I can see that it's dance, and got very intrigued about the idea of working with bodies that looked nothing like mine and moved nothing like mine did.
And how to be creative with it.
Yes, and not to be creative on a professional level, not just art therapy. I'm not a therapist. I know nothing about dance therapy.
Yeah, that's a very different thing.
Oh, it is, and some people get the mistaken idea about Full Radius Dance when they find out that over half my company uses wheelchairs as their primary mode of movement. And they immediately go to it must be so happy and beneficial to them. You know, art is happy and beneficial to everybody, but it's all about pursuing dance on a professional level, a high artistic quality.
Now, I like we were talking a little earlier, you were saying about you were looking for challenges creatively for yourself as a choreographer and what to do next and exploring circus arts. And I love that you were inspired to do this because you wanted to take dance into new directions. Does that sound pretty accurate?
Yeah, that's very accurate. I'm constantly challenged every time I go into the studio to get this vision out of my head and onto these bodies. And, you know, just like I turn best to the right, other dancers turn best to the left.
Right.
So we all have our strengths and weaknesses,
right.
But it's trying to find that common ingredient that we can share amongst all the dancers to create the strongest possible work.
So when you're choreographing and you are aware of somebody's strengths or weaknesses, you're choreographing with that in mind for them somewhat?
Yes, somewhat. It's a very collaborative process now. When I first started doing choreography, it was like, this must be done on this count. You must extend on this count. This count has to look like this. And when I started working with my company, that as it exists now, not everybody's chair turns the same speed. Not everybody has the same upper body strength and things. So it's like, okay, well, this just adds more richness to the mix. So I bring in, a lot of times I said, this is the concept.
Right.
Let me see it on the bodies and let's play. And somebody will say, well, you know, this is hard, this movement's a little bit difficult for me to do because I can't turn the chair and do this arm gesture you want at the same time. So we say, well, how can we translate it?
Right, so you had to become more flexible within what they're...
Yes, and it made me such a better choreographer, and it made me such a better teacher. Because now when I teach classes, I teach to the individual rather than the broad group. Because I came up from a ballet background. And, you know, in the ballet studio, you go in there, you stand at the bar, everybody stands in their first position, does their pliés, everybody is identical. And corrections sometimes are personalized, but they're more general corrections. And now when I teach, I really say, okay, I tell my students, you have my permission to translate this into your own body.
I bet it ends up coming up with some probably better variations than what you had initially envisioned, because you've allowed them to be part of that creative process.
Right. Yes. I think it definitely makes our work richer and stronger. It also, I think, makes the dancers more invested in the work because they've had their say. They've injected their creativity into the work, so they really feel like they own the dance. Rather than just being told how to dance, they really feel and are motivated to dance.
I bet that keeps them always wanting to come back. And
I hope so.
And looking forward to each practice even. I mean, I'm a dance background myself, and the taking class was always just one of the most fun. You know, it's so almost meditative because you're so focused, you know, and I've just always loved it myself, so that's why it's easy for me to relate, because I remember, and it immediately brings me back to those times too. But so tell me about what is it that you're looking to do as far as getting the public involved with what, just performances coming, come to your performances. How can the public help you?
Public can help us in numerous ways. Attending our performances are always great. We just had one in January at 7 Stages and had tremendous response to that, which we're really excited about. We go out into the community lot. We'll be doing some school shows the first week of March in conjunction with Exceptional Children's Week, which is always wonderful to go out into the schools because children with disabilities don't have a whole lot of role models out there.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's really great. I love it when the company can come in and the student can see somebody who looks like them on stage and can relate to them, doing something that's highly physical and highly interactive. So you can book us for those shows, things like that. We're always looking for volunteers for minor things like ushering at our concerts, to fundraising is always a big thing. But if someone out there has a talent, I'm sure we can find a spot for you somewhere in the company. Well,
it sounds like I'm very intrigued. I have to go see a show. We got to take a break right now. We will be right back with how you can get involved with Full Radius Dance and the website, and we'll be back with more information.
Journey Performing Arts Center is a 501c3 Atlanta-based arts organization.
I started Journey because as an educator, I noticed arts programming being cut in the school system.
We strive to provide affordable and accessible programming in the areas of dance, acting, and music. With more parents forced to work longer hours, we're able to go directly into the schools during after-school hours, which allows working parents to still give their kids artistic outlets in one central location. We have a professional touring dance company and also offer outstanding technical training at our East Atlanta studio location. We welcome supporters of arts and education to join our cause. Get involved by joining our 2010 Open Art Surgery campaign at www.journeyartscenter.org.
Thank you for staying with us. We are talking with Douglas Scott of the Full Radius Dance Company, and joining us is Laurel Lawson. Welcome, one of the members of the company. And tell me about how long you've been with the company.
I've been with the company for about 8 years now.
8 years. All right, that's a long time. You must enjoy the heck out of it.
You don't dance for the money, and so yes, that would be safe to say.
And so, tell me about where's this taken you in the 8 years? Some of the places you've performed.
We've performed all over the place, quite literally, all over the country, from the Aquarium of the Pacific in LA, San Francisco, Cleveland at one point, various other places, all over the South and the Southeast, of course.
And what was your most memorable performance?
Probably our most memorable tour in my time with the company was Italy. We performed in a variety of places in northern Italy, but the culmination of that trip was performing at the Pavarotti Opera House.
Which sounds very exciting.
It was.
How exciting was it?
First off, it was a beautiful old world opera house that had surrounded huge chandeliers, the tiers of seating that went all the way up, and it was absolutely packed.
Oh.
So that was absolutely thrilling. But probably the biggest challenge was the stage itself.
Tell us about that.
The stage was a raked stage, which is sloped from the audience to the upstage to the curtain. And this stage was huge. Old classic opera stage, I think there were about 2 acres of stage there. Fortunately, the top acre was curtained off, but that still left us an enormous amount of space to cover. And this was a very fast, very physical piece. So we were moving at high speed. Uphill was challenging. Downhill was possibly more challenging because we don't have brakes.
Oh my.
It was very interesting stopping at the downstage without flying off and hitting the audience.
That would be a problem, yeah.
It would have been.
But it sounds like you managed.
We all survived the experience.
I think it added.
Did you videotape that one?
Actually, there has been a videotape, but I haven't been able to get it yet.
Oh, good.
But it should be really interesting to see.
I'm sure you guys got creative to another level on that stage.
Oh yes. The piece was entitled Passione, and I think that definitely added a lot of emotion to the performance.
And you know, I think too, it's important. You were just saying about how very physical all of your dancers are, and how much strength and agility, and you know, that you love it when people say, "I just saw the dancers," which is just this is a real art form, and I think that it's really important that people you know, understand what it is that you're actually doing. And it's very exciting that you're touring all over the place and just having such a great experience. I definitely have to come to the next show, so we can go to your website and see upcoming shows. And
that's at www.fullradiusdance.org. O-R-G.
Great. And we're going to be seeing in a few minutes a little segment about where was this performance that we're going to be viewing?
It was from the Modern Atlanta Dance Festival last year, which our company also produces.
Okay.
And it's a piece called Walking on My Grave, which was inspired by that sudden shiver you get down your back.
Walking on my grave, I got it.
And I did some research on where the phrase comes from and what it actually means. And it dates back to the time of medieval times when the line between the living and dead was considered much more fluid. So someone could actually walk on your grave in the future and you could feel it in the presence because time was much more circular and fluid.
Interesting. Well, we're going to get to view that, and then we'll be right back with Douglas and Laurel.
two characteristics that set us apart and make Brooks & Company dance unique. The first is our strong foundation in the classical modern traditions. The basis of our movement vocabulary comes from a place of stark, dramatic, codified technique. We are not modern dancers that self-indulge on stage. The second characteristic that sets us apart is storytelling. Using the human form through dance to tell these stories makes them resonate when you see them in live performance. You can truly speak to someone's humanity because there is an element of commonality. In modern dance, our instrument is shared by the audience. It is the same, flesh, muscle, bone, and blood. This sameness allows Brooks & Company to tell our stories on a visceral level. Atlanta's dance culture is shape-shifting. Atlanta loves fads and popularity, and Atlanta has a very short attention span. But people love stories. People love to identify with performers and the stories that are being told. I am a Georgia native. This is my city and my home. Brooks & Company Dance is fortunate to be creating in Atlanta.
All right, we are back interviewing Full Radius Dance, and I hope you enjoyed that performance as much as I did. What creativity. It's amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about the history of modern dance and how you have just made it blossom in this new way?
Well, modern dance is a type or a style of dance that was first created over 100 years ago, primarily here in the United States and Germany. It came about as a revolt against the confines of classical ballet. You know, in ballet, the women have feet are confined into point shoes. They have the costumes that overemphasize the womanly figure of the hips and things like that.
I hadn't thought about them quite that way.
Yeah. But early modern dance pioneers were primarily women who decided they'd toss off those toe shoes and toss off these artificial costumes.
You ever tried to put one of those on?
I know,
Very painful.
Actually, very painful. So,
especially for a man.
Yeah, I actually had to do point when I was growing up to
really?
Strengthen my ankles. Huh. So, yeah, I have bloody point shoes still in my house someplace.
Anyway, we got off track.
Yeah. So early modern dance pioneers decided to throw off the confines of classical ballet and the strict technique that classical ballet represented. I've heard it described that modern is horizontal, while ballet is vertical. Ballet is all about reaching up to the heavens, and modern is more earthbound, about investigating and the feelings that come from the earth and those more common feelings.
And then it also obviously is about no limitations,
yes.
Either, and obviously that's what you are doing here.
Yeah, so modern dance, an offshoot of modern dance is called contact improvisation, where a group gets together and they don't have really any planned movements going on, they just go with how they feel at that moment and how they relate to each other.
Do you ever do that?
Yes, yes. And that form is where physically integrated dance really started to take off, because it was very accepting of different abilities and different body types.
I see.
Now, out of that movement came the more structured dance companies, such as I mentioned before, Dancing Wills. There's Axis Dance Company out in Oakland, California, and there's several others in Full Radius Dance. And we sort of have taken that combination of being accepting of different body types in the modern dance form, but we've sort of now have codified a technique around it.
And can you describe the technique? I've never heard of this, so I'm kind of intrigued.
Well, the technique is very similar to what you might find in a traditional dance company, but our technique is really hallmarked by a very open chest, very open solar plexus, the use of the arms, the carriage of the arms, contractions, as Martha Graham used to do, the contraction and the expansion. We really expand on, work on those. So I've taken Martha Graham, Jose Limon, all these different forms and melded them together with my own special little brand to come up with the Full Radius Dance technique. If you see Full Radius Dance in performance, and then you see a similar company such as Axis, we look different. Just like New York City Ballet looks different from Atlanta Ballet.
Right. So you were telling me about some of these interesting dances that you have done on stilts and just...
Yeah, well, the stilt piece came about because obviously if I'm standing beside Laurel, there's a difference, a height difference. And this is about the only time, she's taller than me right now, but this is about the only time we in the company were on the same level if someone is sitting beside somebody else. So I thought, well, there's a height difference. let's play with that. So I choreographed a piece called That Snow Waltz, which uses Tchaikovsky's Snow Waltz, and became the Snow King and Queen became stilt walkers.
Wow.
So it really exaggerated the height difference between the standing dancers and the seated dancers, which was a lot of fun.
Cool. Laurel, tell me, how much do you practice and rehearse, and what is your favorite thing that you get out of being a part of this company?
We rehearse 3 days a week. Performances vary. Sometimes, for example, we're about to go into a series of several school shows, touring, of course, and our home concert season, the festival season. All of those things take our schedules up and down. So company members have to stay fairly flexible in terms of scheduling. It'd be lovely if we were one day full-time.
Right.
I don't think there's one single favorite thing I can say about dancing. We all dance for the love of the art form.
Sure. And using your body.
I started out as an athlete. I will always be an athlete. Finding an art form that integrates that physicality with creativity was a gift to me. And I think that's something that is a common thread in the company.
Now, in regards to having other people that may have the same challenges as you, do you get a lot of feedback from them as to like, wow, I could do that? I mean, do you feel like you get much of that from the community?
We do. Frequently the first response before someone sees the company is either you're joking or that's so awful, because this is, if you close your eyes and you think about people dancing in wheelchairs and you have never seen it, you're going to come up with some pretty
people playing
interesting.
basketball and doing all types of things. So
And I was a basketball player first, and when I first heard about dancing, I looked at Douglas sideways and said, "You
got to be kidding.
What?" So it's really something that you have to see or experience. It's very hard to talk about in words, but after people have experienced it, we get very positive feedback, both in terms of, wow, that was awesome, and, wow, here are people with bodies like mine who are doing something totally different.
Very exciting. And you look so happy, too. It's so fun to just, no matter what you are or where you are, when you find things that you can do and you're passionate about and you're enjoying it and you're creative, I mean, that's the beauty of life, that anybody can, do no matter where they are. You can make the best of it and find a way to still express yourself. One time I was asking, why life, and I got this phrase that said to share the joy of expression. And that's really that's what you're all about, that's what you're all about, and I think that everybody they're lucky if they get to realize that that's what life is. I'm going to share my joy and I'm going to express myself. So I really want to see one of your performances, and I know that our audience is going to want to see your performances and go to your website, and it's very nice to have you here today. I really appreciate it. And if I can help, I know that you guys need volunteers. We'd be happy to do all that we can as far as that goes too. And if you have a show that you would like to have featured on People for People, all you got to do is go to peopletv.org and submit a request. We'd be happy to feature you. And thank you again, Douglas and Laurel, for coming on the show, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I look at the trouble every night on TV, I might lose hope, I might lose faith in the people I meet. If it takes a village
Benchmark Family Services is a nonprofit therapeutic foster care agency located in Hapeville, Georgia. We are currently looking for families who are willing to open their homes and hearts to children in foster care. If you are interested in becoming a foster parent, please call 770-210-8745 to schedule an orientation.